take out the power cord. Thread the power supply from the bottom of the column to the top of the column. Take out the connector and install it into the column slot. Tighten the screws of the connector with a hex wrench. The bottom of the connector should be flush with the edge of the column. Take out the bottom plate and stick it to the column. Fix with screws. Install other columns using the same method. Stand up the installed pillar. Take out the crossbeam with motor. Take out the sink. The sink is installed through the slot on the crossbeam. Install the crossbeam with the sink installed onto the column. The crossbeam is connected to the column through a metal slider on the back. Tighten the screws on the crossbeam with a hex wrench. Install the crossbeam on the opposite side of the motor. Tighten the screws. Take out the crossbeam with guide rails. The end of the crossbeam with bearings should be on the side of the motor. Take out the sink and install it on the crossbeam. Install the crossbeam of the installed sink onto the column. Tighten the screws on the crossbeam with a hex wrench. Install the other crossbeam using the same method. After the installation of the 4 crossbeams, it is also necessary to check whether the diagonal length of the column is consistent. Take out a tape measure to measure the distance from the edge of the crossbeam to the fixed part. Both beams need to be measured. If it is found that the distance between the 2 track beams and the fixed parts is inconsistent, it can be achieved by rotating the bearings on the crossbeam. Make 2 fixed components of the same length. Take out the transmission pipe. First, insert the transmission pipe into the bearing at one end of the crossbeam and then insert it into the motor end. Tighten the screws. Install the other side using the same method. Take out the blinds. First, place all the blinds on the crossbeam. The linkage rod of the louvers on both sides is different from the others. Install the louvers without wheels into the slot of the crossbeam fixing component. Flip the blinds over so that the bottom of the blinds is facing upwards. Align the linkage rod with the louver hole position. Take out the screws and screw sleeves. Insert the screw sleeve into the screw. Twist onto the blinds. On the other side, use the same method. Pay attention to tightening the screws on both sides of the blinds at the same time. Complete the installation of screws at the bottom of the louvers in sequence. Install the screws on the upper part of the louver. Insert the screw sleeve into the screw. Twist onto the blinds. Tighten the screws one by one. Push the blinds forward. Align the second louver with the guide rail fixture. Take out the fixed components. Tighten the screws. Install the other side using the same method. Take out the light strip. Thread the light strip line out of the sink hole. The light strip wraps around the sink in a circle. Be careful when pushing and pulling the light strip through the corner of the pillar. Avoid damaging the light strip. Take out the quick connector and connect the light strip wires separately. Take out the lampshade and press it into the lamp slot. Take out the controller. Place the controller in the motor, crossbeam, sink. Connect the motor wire connector to the motor wire connector of the controller. Connect the light strip line. Connect the power cord. Plug in the power supply. Take out the remote control. Switch the channel to 01. Press the up and down buttons on the remote control to test if the blinds are running properly. Take out the motor cover and install it onto the motor crossbeam. Tighten 3 to 4 self-tapping screws. Take out the box cover of the guide rail crossbeam and install it onto the guide rail crossbeam. Tighten 3 to 4 self-tapping screws. Install the top cover of the column. Tighten the screws. Take out the impact drill and drill holes on the bottom plate of the column. Install the expansion screw and tighten it. Install decorative cover. Installation is complete.